Hi, I'm Lisa, and if you're new here, we welcome you, and if you've been around before, we welcome you back. My husband Charlie and I are homesteaders, and we follow a Mediterranean way of eating. So being homesteaders, Charlie and I do like to grow and raise as much of our own food as possible. We've got chickens in our backyard. We have pigs, we have cows, and we grow a big garden. This is lettuce growing in our green stalk planter. So today I've got another healthy Trader Joe's shopping haul for you. I'm gonna show you 10 things that I have gotten at Trader Joe's this month, and it's a really good list of stuff, so I'm excited, so let's get into the video. Trader Joe's has always been one of my absolute favorite stores. When we lived in California, it was my first voyage into a healthier grocery store. I loved going there to get fresh flowers, and I just loved all of the different kinds of things that they had there. When you're shopping at Trader Joe's and you're following a Mediterranean diet, you do need to be careful about a lot of the pre-packaged things. So a good rule of thumb is just to stick to the things with all whole food ingredients. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get started with the things I got in the frozen aisle. So I found these French green beans, and I really love French green beans because they're just thinner, they cook quicker, and these are really good to just throw into a lot of recipes. And so the only ingredient in this is green beans. You really do wanna stay away from all of the vegetables that are pre-seasoned or have sauces on them. You can make your own seasoning, you can make your own sauces. They're gonna be much healthier, and they're gonna have a much lower sodium count. So when you're in the frozen section of Trader Joe's, you wanna look for the single ingredient vegetables or the mixed vegetables with only whole foods as the ingredient. Now, one exception is this cauliflower gnocchi. So this is something that I was super excited to find. It just has a few ingredients. It's got cauliflower, cassava flour, potato starch, extra virgin olive oil, and sea salt. So the sodium count is higher than I would usually go for, but it's really, really delicious, and I think it's fine as a treat. I sauteed this cauliflower gnocchi with spinach, garlic, onion, and topped with feta. It was delicious. Moving on to the grains that you can get at Trader Joe's. Rolled oats. I make overnight oats or oatmeal muffins, and I probably have them for at least half of my breakfasts. If you saw my Mediterranean meal prep video, you know I love batch cooking muffins for the freezer. Overnight oats with chia seeds are one of my favorite breakfasts. I really, really love them. They're a great source of whole grain. I always pair a protein with them. I love adding a scoop of peanut butter to my oatmeal. It's definitely something I've always got on hand. I found that it's really easy to find brown rice pretty much everywhere you go, but this was different in that it is jasmine brown rice, and I haven't found jasmine brown rice anywhere else, so I'm actually pretty excited to try this. I really like to use jasmine rice when I make a curry, so very excited to try this. And then I found this. If you haven't tried farro yet, I highly encourage it. It's absolutely delicious. I meal prep it a lot of times. I batch cook whole grains for easy meal prep throughout the week. And so this is 10-minute farro that I found at Trader Joe's. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll let you know what I think of it when I do. Well, Diogi has decided that he too would like to be in the video. So if you haven't been around here before, this is our dog, Diogi. We call him the worst homesteading dog ever. In case you think I'm using hyperbole when I call him the worst homesteading dog ever, here is Exhibit A, him helping me garden. He just drives me absolutely insane. He's lucky he's cute. He is a sweet, sweet boy, but he is very obnoxious, and he is 100% all up in my business 24/7. So there is no way that I'm gonna finish this video without him being right here. Okay, you can help. You can help. Okay, so another thing that I absolutely love to get at Trader Joe's is wine. And my favorite red wine, I talked about it in my previous Trader Joe's video, is called Well Red. It's just a fun little play on words, and it's just a really nice dry table blend. When you're looking for red wines, especially for the Mediterranean diet, you want a dry wine because if it's sweet, that means more sugar. So a cab is always a very good bet when it comes to trying to find a nice dry red. I haven't tried this one. Well Red was out of stock, so I got this one. But when it comes to wine, Trader Joe's really does have a lot of nice red wine selections. And if you're gonna go for a white wine, you also wanna go for the dry white wine. So you wanna look for something like a Chardonnay. And I talked about this in my last video, but I'm gonna bring it up in every Trader Joe's video I ever do, right, Dioji? You know how good this is. I've given you a little piece of this before. This is my favorite cheese in all of the land, and I'm from Wisconsin originally, so I know cheese. But this is the creamy Toscana with coastal Syrah. It is so, so good. So if you go to Trader Joe's and you only get one thing, make it be this cheese. It's so good. I love putting it on a mezzi platter. I don't do as many charcuterie boards anymore because of all of the processed meats. And so I do more of a mezzi platter with the cheeses, the fruits. I usually make homemade crackers to go with it. I'll show you a picture. But really, 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 really good. No, you can't have that. Another thing that I found that I was super excited about, on my last video, I talked about finding these cacao chocolate chips. You can use cacao chips or cacao powder in anywhere that you would use chocolate chips or cocoa powder, and it really makes some delicious treats. And I also talked about how cacao is a little bit different than cocoa powder. So the biggest difference between cacao and cocoa powder is that cacao is processed at a lower heat than cocoa powder so that it then retains more of the nutrients and antioxidants. So like there's more magnesium, for example, in cacao than there is in cocoa powder. So I was thrilled to find cacao powder at Trader Joe's because when I make myself a hot chocolate, I like to use cacao powder instead of cocoa powder, and I certainly don't like to use those mixes because it's too much sugar. So I prefer to make it with cacao powder and then add like a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it up, and then I usually use cashew milk. So very excited to have found this. And then I found some really fun salsas and seasonings. So this is with a salsa verde with tomatillos, and I grow tomatillos in my garden. If you saw my garden tour, it was a very emotional garden tour because I talked about my late sister, Kristen, and how she made amazing white chicken chili. I grew these tomatillos in my garden last year for the sole purpose of making my sister's white chicken chili from scratch with homemade tomatillo sauce, and it turned out really, really well. I will link the recipe below. But this is a great backup to have when I don't, I know Dioshi, when I don't have the fresh tomatillos. So I'm gonna have to pet him while I do the rest of this video. But it's really, really good, and I highly recommend this if you don't make your own fresh tomatillo salsa. Now I've got one hand on him and one hand to do the video, so that's kind of fun. Then I found this green and red, excuse you, burps. This green and red hatch chili flakes. So I haven't tried these yet, but I'm pretty excited to try these in my recipes. And then I found a Italian style sofrito. I think I'm saying that right. So very excited to try this. The ingredients are dried onion, tomato flakes, minced garlic, crushed chili peppers, parsley flakes, crushed red pepper, dried rosemary, and sage leaves. So all really, really clean ingredients, because when it comes to spices, if you are buying them in the store and you're not using individual spices, there's all kinds of extra additives in them. So whenever I find a spice blend that is all whole food, I get pretty excited and I like to share it. Hi, baby. I know. So I hope that this was helpful to you. I'm also going to link my previous Trader Joe's video down below so you can check that out as well. If you shop at Trader Joe's, I would love to know what you get there. I am always looking for new things to try. Dioji and I wish you a very blessed day. Bye-bye.